Well, I was a loner until there were no friends left. And before someone offered me drugs, you know,
Patrick Schneeweiss was born on May 7th, 1987, in Brattleboro, Vermont. He grew up in a family of musicians and eventually went on to become frontman for several bands and an icon/hero of his music genre. Also in 2009, he checked himself into rehab for heroin and alcohol addiction. The aforementioned music genre is folk punk, and the artist, Pat the Bunny.
and I'll drink myself to death, or at least I'll drink myself to sleep. Chain smoke my way through the gaps in between my aspirations and my apathy.
I understand that it can be seen as strange that I'm a fan of such music as Pat's, despite growing up quite normally in California. But considering my mild mental health issues and my 3-digit bank account, I wouldn't think it's any different as me listening to artists such as Stan Rogers despite not being a sailor, or Vince Staples despite not being a Crip. I found Pat through r/listen to this in 2015, a subreddit meant for recommending songs with low views/play counts. I was instantly taken in by the bareness of it, considering the albeit most likely unintentional instrumental limitations of the performance. It allowed Pat's songwriting and howling singing to push the song further.
You're in our bed crying for a ghost again. No room could be as dark or as empty as ours is. 'Cause I'm at home, but I'm not here and I never.
It opened the gates for me to discover the rest of his music and other musicians similar. I wanted to explore what makes folk punk work for me, as well as highlight some of my favorites in said genre. I am construing some into the genre, but I believe they're all at least adjacent, feel-wise.
I don't like to practice and have people hear me. I don't want my roommates to hear me singing and be annoyed. And so I've only tried to play the song a couple of times, so I might not do a great job. But this is a song about feeling like I'm a piece of shit. I don't know if anyone feels that way about themselves, but yeah, a song about
I'm not a good person. Ask anyone who knows me. I'm mean and bitter and a failure at everything that I say I believe.
As the name implies, folk punk I think is best described as the fusion of the instrumental soul and anthem-like nature of folk music, and the aggression and themes of punk. I want to talk about the latter first. Much of folk punk as a whole has countless references to anti-capitalistic views, drug use, and counterculture in general. How it differs, I think, is that the folk side of the music allows for more vulnerability and emotional content, alongside the usual rage and anarchy, and some self-awareness as well. Pat's good at reaching both energy levels. On New Mexico Song, he's able to touch on the questionable futility of his anarchism. He speaks of lost friends and his own seemingly hypocritical upbringing, all ideas which might sell a softer tone than the one Pat delivers, full of energy and probably cheap beer.
They are only occupation, be not having a job. They the only cocktails that we make be Molotov. May that day be now, and for as many days after that as we know how. It starts.
I would also highlight Fuck It by Daze, another song that I think shows how folk punk seemingly blends two opposites together. It's full of insightful commentary on the meaning of life, bunched up into a fist, then thrown at a CEO with a banging chorus as a soundtrack.
Life's a joke, fucking why not go for broke? Trading all your chips for a house you need to read. Why I'm staying on jumping lines, we're all living on borrowed time. See what you like in the light, what you do when you do it, and if
On the other hand, the folk instrumentals give way for more vigor and excitement, no doubt a lending of the punk side's energy. Even when stripped more barren than usual instrumental-wise, Pat and folk punk artists as a whole are able to make it work through heartfelt songwriting or passionate performances, something which I think is best shown in songs like My Idea of Fun. It's a quieter song, but still able to convey the emotions and frustrations Pat feels with enough energy to keep it interesting.
Like if you don't want to work, then that becomes your job. There's a lot of overtime, there's not many days off. I hope you know that I'm not trying to complain. It just gets hard to explain.
I feel these lines create a self-awareness and maybe even a warning for him or maybe anyone in a similar situation. But he also later adds reassurance to the listener that they are enough.
Fuck the law, cause we're enough. Fuck the boss, cause we're enough. Fuck Microsoft, cause we're enough. Fuck owning stocks, cause we're enough. Fuck you, cause we're enough. Fuck moving to Brooklyn, cause we're enough. Fuck the Clash, cause we're enough. Fuck Marshall Stacks, cause we're enough. Quit what you don't love, cause we're enough.
Similarly, Defiance, Ohio's "Oh Susquehanna" is a beautiful ballad about the bittersweet remembrance of childhood memories of backyard forests and warm neighborhoods being trampled by the rise of cold American suburbia. It as well carries the sonical feel of a folk song, but with vocals that happen to betray yet complement it. It comes together with folk punk, as both factors of the genre are equally important, as together it creates music that can be both emotionally intimate and endlessly aggressive, maybe even in the same song. Now, it might be weird that I call Pat folk punk's hero. It's a word you probably would not associate with his peoples, but I think it's quite ample. A hero is usually praised for their deeds and supported that they might do so in the future, regardless if they'd like to or not, which I think is a predicament similar to Pat's. Presently, he has stopped making music, at least for the masses, and has denounced most of his older music's themes of anarchism, drug abuse, and general not caringness. For all intents and purposes, he lives a normal life now. I don't mean to attack him for this. Most of what I've seen is people congratulating Pat for finding stability and happiness, including me. Early in his career, he no doubt became a voice echoing the same views listed earlier, and those songs still exist, the same way a hero's history might. It's not like he changed in one day either. His later music, I think, is best put as trying to make up for lost time. Time to Wake Up off Cocoon Music shows this the best. Through its musical and lyrical content, he makes the message to both himself and like individuals to, frankly, wake up. And that certain people and the world need you. And they are and have been waiting. A lot of his more recent music tells you to value yourself more, no doubt a half reminder to himself. Going back to the first song I found him on, Never Coming Home, Its full title is Never Coming Home, Song for the Guilty. To sum it up, Pat the Bunny in his old music might be the hero for your more youthful and reckless self and ideas, but Pat, and the more recent tunes that come from him, might be telling you that you should be your own hero, and as well to remember.
Your heart is a muscle, the size of your fist. Keep on loving, keep on fighting, and hold on, and hold on. Hold on for your life.
Hey there, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Folkpunk is one of my favorite genres, partly because of its community. Although extremely DIY, go to any Pat the Bunny video on YouTube and you'll find countless comments of people thanking Pat for getting them through tough times, remembering lost friends, and reassuring other souls on the internet. Though I completely understand, I'm still quite bitter I'll most likely never see him live. Also quickly, some of the bands or artists I wholly recommend are Stick and Poke, Human Kitten, and of course the several bands Pat was a part of. And if you like this video, please consider liking it or subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot.